All right, so we're now recording. Everybody is here and those online. Your face might be there for a few seconds. I'm going to quickly try to make sure that the recording does not have the faces on there quite as much, and that way that, because I know it can be kind of awkward, right? No, any recordings, your face might come up for just a few seconds. This recording is not shared to anyone except those in this particular class. It's not used in my next semester. It's not the previous semester. You're never going to see those faces there. It is only here, and I'm going to try and do my best because I know sometimes it's going to come up that you might be there for just a split second, like you saw, but I will do my best to try and minimize that. But sometimes I have to come back and share my screen, and your faces might be up there for a second or so. All right, so this course, Applied Stats, you guys are all in the right place here. This course is not going to be using PowerPoint. Really, today is the only day I'm going to use PowerPoint, maybe a little bit on Friday because it's more just introductory. Let's make sure we get our terms correct. But I felt now is a good time just to go through the basics. The syllabus is on Canvas. The assignments are on Canvas, and I'll show you where they are. There's actually going to be an assignment due this week, and it's an assignment that will take you 15 minutes or less. So it's not like one of these overbearing assignments, but it's something to make sure that you are registered, you have the textbook, you're in the right spot, and I can account for you being here, which is really important for Florida Southern. But a lot of times when I teach this course, this is the first time I see you. How many of you guys have met me before? Okay, one. Maybe you've seen me if you're part of Delta Sigma Pi. Maybe you've seen me. I've given some talks with Business 1115. So you might have seen me in different places here. But I'd like to start off with you getting to know me and how I got here to Florida Southern College. Right, so my journey started, I went to a small school in central Pennsylvania called Elizabethtown College. Now, has anybody ever heard of Elizabethtown College? How do you know Elizabethtown College?
I'm from New York with my friends.
Oh, perfect. Right. So what do you know about it?
I don't really know much about it. I'm pretty sure she went for like optical therapy.
Oh, that's a big deal. Yeah, at E-Town. To put it in perspective, so Florida Southern, we think ourselves as a relatively small school, right? How many? If you add all the commuters and grad students, what are we, about 3,000, 3,500, you know, when you add the masters, and my wife's actually a doctorate student here as well, right? So we have different programs. 3,000, 3,500. E-Town is about 1,800 students. So it is a small school that is similar to Florida Southern, but it is actually smaller. When I went to E-Town, this is 20 years ago, I was an international business major. My goal was to make a ton of money. It's going to be a CFO, a CEO, something big, make a ton of money. That was kind of my goal going into Elizabethtown College. I minored in Spanish and religious studies, just so I could add. And I was a pretty good student. Part of being an international business major, though, at Elizabethtown, was that I had to study abroad. And not just for a 1-week junior journey, but I went abroad for 8 months. I could have gone to Spain, Ecuador, or Mexico. So, okay, those were the connections that we had, and it had to be someplace not speaking English as a first language. So I figured in my life I'd go to Spain. I've been to Spain. I've taken Florida Southern students to Spain. I've been to Mexico multiple times, but when in the world are you going to go to Ecuador? Right? So that's what I decided. All right, so I'm going to live in Ecuador. It turned out to be about 10 months. And so what I saw there, this is actually me as a junior in college. That's me right there. I lived there. What I saw, though, was so different than what I was used to growing up in Pennsylvania. My family's from Pittsburgh. I grew up in central PA. Right? The school I went to in Ecuador was the most wealthiest university I have really ever stepped foot on at that time. So many wealth, so much money. This is in Quito, Ecuador. But then you go a few blocks away, and this is what you saw. Or this is what you saw. You can see in that top picture, these are pictures I've taken where you see these mansions, and then you see very impoverished areas. And so as an international business major, it really struck me that I wanted to understand why some areas are so wealthy and some areas are so poor. What are the reasons why some countries grow faster than others? How can we talk about inequality in America or inequality in developing countries? So I came back from this. It was my junior year, so it was too late to switch majors. But I came back and said, okay, international business aside, I want to focus on economics. Right? And this was the tipping point for me. So my senior year at Elizabethtown College, I started taking a bunch of math courses and some more econ courses. And I went directly from there to get my PhD in economics. It's a good student. I was able to go from a small school. We've had students from Florida Southern get their PhD at Clemson, Florida State. You can go to graduate school from even a small school like I did. I went to Drexel University. Now, who knows Drexel? You might know, if you know E-Town, where's Drexel? What's that? It's also in Pennsylvania. Gotta be more specific. Hint, they won the Super Bowl. What's that? I hear online?
It's in Philadelphia, right?
It's Philadelphia. Center City, Philadelphia is Drexel University. So I went from Pittsburgh, Central PA, to Philadelphia, where I got my PhD in economics from Drexel University. All right, so I went from west side to central to east side. Now, if you know the geographics of the Northeast, if I kept going east towards the ocean from Philadelphia, where am I going to go? You keep going east. I know I have a lot of students that are from this great state, and I say great state sarcastically. If I keep going further east, I hit New Jersey. I did not want to go to New Jersey, right? In Philadelphia, we make fun of Jersey all the time. So what happened after Drexel is I came down to Tampa. I worked at University of Tampa for 6 years before moving here to Florida Southern. I've completed 4.5 years at Florida Southern, so I've kind of got to know the lay of the land. So I'm excited to be here. I love the international programs we have here. I love the students that we have here. I love teaching this course. This course is quantitative in nature, which really feeds into what I love to do in economics, what I love to teach. I also do teach macro theory and international economics and econometrics. So I teach some other economic courses, but this is really my primary focus here at Florida Southern. I've been doing so for the last couple of years. Right? So I'm happy to be here. It's a little bit about me, something also a little bit about me that you'll hear me talk about all the time, right? So living in Lakeland also brought me another blessing. My daughter, this is Maria. Maria turned 3 years old this past Saturday. So it was something within here in Lakeland. We were able to adopt when she was just born, and her birth parents are Haitian, but it's just such another blessing. I talk about Maria quite a bit, and occasionally there might be a time where, hey, any of you babysit? Right? Once we get through this quarantine and this, we need babysitters. So I'm happy to explain. I live a block off campus, and so you can come help with this little goofball here. But that's who I am. Just in general, you'll get to know quite a bit. I am an open book. Like I said, we moved to Lakeland 4.5 years ago. We have a house right off campus, and so we just love this area. We love raising our daughter here. So that's a little bit about me. In terms of this class, what you can expect. I feel more comfortable this semester than I did even last semester. In terms of the technology that we have, using Canvas to give exams, to use the online textbook, I know what I'm doing, I think, a little bit more than what I did 6 months ago. Certainly more than I did a year ago. Think about January 27th of 2020. We had no idea what would be happening in the next year. But I think I'm equipped, we're able to do it. You can expect me to be organized, to be prepared. I showed you pictures of Maria. So Maria has a very tight schedule here, right? So we go to bed early, we wake up early. And the reason why that's relevant to you is that if you send me an email at 10 o'clock at night, I know that is the normal time. I know I went to college and going to bed at 3 in the morning was not out of the norm, right? That is not my norm anymore with a 3-year-old daughter. So if you send me an email late, I'll get back to you as soon as I can the next morning, right? I'll do my best to try and get back to you. Where this is particularly important is when it comes to your homeworks. As you're going to see is your homeworks online are typically going to be due on Sunday night. So Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. I do it for consistency. The first 2 years that I taught here, I had the homework due dates all over the place. This one's due Tuesday night, this one's due Friday night, this one's due Wednesday night, and it just got confusing. So what I have now is Sunday night is going to be your key deadline at 11:59 p.m. But I bring up my sleep schedule because if you have a question with your homework at 11 p.m. on Sunday night, I'm not going to be responding to you, right? So you want to make sure you can start early. You'll always have plenty of time. There's no like quick, you got to get this done by tonight, right? You'll always have plenty of time to start it and get things done. But I think it's important to set expectations up front. In this class, what we're going to be seeing is that we're going to be using a lot of data and a lot of Excel work. One thing that we do here that's different than marketing research or different than what I've done in some of my advanced economics courses is where you collect your own data. In this course, I'm going to be trying to give you as much data so we can really focus on how do we analyze it. So that's something to expect. And like I said, I'm 4.5 years in at Florida Southern, so I have good experience in terms of what you can do succeed, whether it's virtually or here. Advising. Even if I'm not your primary advisor, I am always there to help. You feel free rein to ask me, should I take this course or this course? Well, how hard is it to get a minor in economics? Or we might be starting a minor in business analytics. So if you really start excelling in this course, you could really add a business analytics course and propel yourself to better job prospects, I think. Internships, you are required as a business major to do a internship or a research project that you might want to work in. One of the things I talk about is when I got back from Ecuador, and so it was between my junior and senior year, I did my internship at Morgan Stanley. So at the time it was Morgan Stanley. You guys probably have heard of that, right? So what I was interning as was a financial advisor. So I worked with a group of other students and a group of financial advisors, learning what it took, what you had to know, and kind of getting some hands-on practice. I realized I absolutely hated it. And that's okay, right? Financial advising actually took a lot more marketing than what I was accustomed to. I really liked the behind the scenes research side of it, but I realized I wasn't very good at making calls to people or marketing myself as their financial advisor. And there are great jobs and they're very successful, just wasn't for me. So some of you will find your internships lead to your job. Some of you will find that internships lead to, well, I'm going to take this other path. And that's okay as well. If you ever want to talk to me more about that, I'm here. Travel abroad, something that's very important. One of the main reasons why I came to Florida Southern. The junior journey, I know, has been in a bit of a hiatus lately, just with all the travel restrictions and COVID-19. I've taken students to Argentina, to Chile, to Ghana, to Italy, to Spain. I love to travel and I love to take students. It's one of the most refreshing things. I think every student should find some way to get out of the country, even if it's for a week, right? It doesn't have to be living 10 months in a developing country, right? Or you don't have to go to the northern villages of Ghana, right? Go to London, go to Paris for a week, go to southern Spain where I take students, right? So if you have questions about that, I'm always happy to listen. All right, so my next slide is going to be, I'm going to start doing attendance. Hopefully now we have time and we'll talk about what attendance is. But what I expect for you, there's just a couple of important things here. Excel, let me just start with this bullet point here. Excel is fundamental to this course. Excel is a learning objective of this course, right? Have you guys taken the Excel course for business? All right, so you all have some exposure to Excel. One of the reasons why we put that in is a few years ago, we didn't have that course. And I would have students that come in who know more about Excel than I do. And I would have students come in and I would give them Excel and do this number plus this number, and they would pull out their phones and do it on their phone and not on Excel. So there was just a huge variety of Excel competencies. So we put this that course in place. What I'll show you when we go back to Canvas is I do have an Excel introductory video, which is not required. It's about 15 minutes long. It's me kind of showing you some of the Excel basics. I encourage you to watch it just to kind of refresh your memory depending on when you took the Excel for Business course. Excel is going to be a big part. Starting Monday, just about every single discussion is going to be, okay, open up your Excel file. I'm going to do my notes in Excel. I'm going to show you how to use data analysis in Excel, where I go through that. So Excel is a big part of this course. Some other things, if you're going to be missing, let me know. I kind of want to put it in here, focus on this part. If you are an in-person designated student, and as of right now, the vast majority of our section are in person, which is why we had to split it up, which is great. I can't wait till we're all in the classroom together. But classroom attendance each and every period, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, are required for all students all the time. Now, I get it. If you're on the baseball team and something's happening, or if you're part of this sorority that is doing a Meet the Firm event in Orlando, if you miss a class period, that's fine. Let me know. For those of you who are, and the vast majority of you are, in-person registered students, I expect those who I'm talking to in person to be here in person when you are able to be. Group B, you guys are online, and I know you wish you were here in person. Friday is going to be your day. You are here in person, and I expect you to be here in person at 9:25, and I expect everyone else to follow the link and be watching me live stream. Right. Starting next week, those who I'm talking to in person, you are here on Monday. Those who I'm talking to virtually, you are here on Wednesday in person in Becker 305. Friday is going to be all virtual. But it isn't the situation where if you are designated as in person, like the 11 of you are here, and the 12 that are on Friday, it's not an option that I kind of want to sleep in today. So I know I'm in person on Monday, but I kind of had a late night on Sunday night. I was traveling and saw my parents. I'm just going to sleep this one in and just watch it from my bedroom. That is not okay. If you're scheduled to be, because that's not fair to everybody else who wants to be here in person, that I have to make it only you come on Wednesday, you come on Monday, right? So it's not fair to them, and so I added this in. If you are designated to attend in person, you're required to attend in person. Required means if you have something else. Your internship is here, you have to go to Orlando or Tampa for this meeting. I get that. But if it's sleeping in and just watching it from your bedroom is not an option if you are scheduled to be here in person. When it comes to the computers, I encourage you all to use your own computers. Your exams will be given online. Your homeworks are done online. And it might be in your best interest to actually use your own computer. Now, you are not required to use your own computer. Right? We have in computer labs, we have in this room, they use PCs. I'm actually showing you this on a Mac. I don't know, I guess fluent in both PCs and in Macs. So there are some subtle differences, and I'll point that out. But Mac or PC is perfectly fine. If you feel more comfortable using your own computer, that's perfectly fine. If you use the computers here, There are wipes. We will need to make sure it's clean after we leave. Just wipe down your computer, wipe down your work area, just for the next class that comes in. Okay, so technology, there's always going to be some issues, and we'll kind of deal with that as we go. I think so far, so good. So let me pause. Let me end my show here. It takes a minute here. Let me stop sharing. All right. So any questions? So I'm not sharing my screen. I see a couple of you guys online. Any questions that you guys have for me now? The next step is I'm going to take attendance and make sure who is where and talk a little bit more about seating charts, but that won't be until next week, but I'll explain that. Any questions? This is your time online. Go ahead, unmute yourself, please. I can hear you. You're only coming through my computer, so it's not like you're blaring through the entire Becker Business Building. So if you have questions online, questions here, please. Let me just take a minute to pause.
I just wanted to let you know, I know you mentioned about computers in Excel.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had to order a new computer because since last November, my computer I guess was some virus or like malware, something got corrupted. And so since like when we moved home, I actually have not had a laptop. I had finished out my semester on my phone. So
Okay.
there will be a couple of times where like I can't use a computer in class. Like I know this week, like my computer just got to my house, so I'll be going back home to go try to set it up.
Okay. One of the things, and that's a great question. I completely understand that. I'm just bringing up, okay, this is from international trade, but it's perfectly fine. The one thing when it comes that I do want to mention about the computers and Excel, what I'm going to show you is completely free. If you're interested in the imports and exports and the trade balance for 5 of the largest countries in the world, you can look at that, but that doesn't matter. What I want you to be looking at here is for Excel, which you can get through Rinker, right? You need to have at least 2016 or newer, and you need to have something that's called data analysis. Now, if you have so I'm using a MacBook Pro here. If you go to Tools and you have Excel add-ins, it is that simple to make sure you just have checked off. These are completely free. Solver we're not going to use, but you might as well click it. But the analysis tool pack is something you need to make sure your computer has. If you have a PC, and I could bring up this computer, but I know how to do it. Home is going to look different on a PC than a Mac. When you go to Home, there's some options. There's one of the tools that have options. From options, you can go to add-ins, and from add-ins, you can add the analysis tool pack. Again, there's no need to download anything. It's just making sure that it is activated on your computer. Excel, I really want by Monday that we are all having data analysis, but we do have some flexibility in time. What you're going to be able to see to know that you have it, and if you have your computer with you, I know you guys online have your computer or will soon have your computer. If you go to the tab data, this is the same for PC or Mac. On the right-hand side, you'll see those two add-ins that I had checked off on my computer, the data analysis and the solver. Data analysis is going to give you this drop-down menu. We are going to be using most of these data analysis tools. The first ones you see, ANOVA, that's chapter 11. So we're going to use them, but not quite right away. Correlation and covariance, this is chapter and descriptive stats. These are all chapter 3. So we're going to be using those in chapter 3. F-test, this is another one for chapter 11. Histogram is what we're going to be using quite a bit next week. So the histogram is chapter 2, right, that we're going to be using. We have regression. This is the end of the semester. Regression is chapter 14 and 15. Sampling is going to be our chapter 7. t-test, these and z-test, these are chapters 8 or 9 and 10, sorry, right? So all of these different data analysis tools we're going to be using throughout the semester in different ways. These are in alphabetical, but we're going to go through them in terms of how it fits within the context of the course. So this is what, when you're looking at your Excel, do I have the right version? This is what I need you to be able to see. If you have this, you're good. Right, that's the only software. We're not going to be using SPSS. We're not going to be using Stata or R or anything else this semester. I hope that was a long-winded answer to your question, but again, perfectly fine. Monday is going to be when we start using that histogram, the histogram tool in data analysis. And I defer to Rinker if you have any issues downloading that, but I know it's available. Other questions? Great question, thank you. All right, so attendance is going to be something that I take every single class period. When it comes to seating charts, what they are requiring is that seating charts are going to be a little bit fluid in the sense where some students add, some students drop, some students are temp, some students come back from being temporary, and all of that, and I get all that. So we're not going to have a seating chart until the end of next week. So but once we have a seating chart for the in-person days, you are required to be there. That is part of the FSC Cares plan. So I know that if this student was sitting here and this student was sitting here, who are in more direct contact than anybody else, even though this room is set up to be socially distanced, which hence why we have the A and B groups, but that's not going to be till the end of next week once the dust kind of settles on the semester. But I do want to go through, try to get you to know you guys a little bit. So as quickly as you can, a couple really quick questions here. Give me a sense of the class here. So first of all, I'm going to go through your name. What do you want to be called? How badly did I pronounce your name? Right? I want you to tell me that. This is a good time. I'm going to jot that down so I don't try not to mess it up in the future. Where are you from? Are you from New Jersey? Because no offense, but I'll pick on you a little bit, right? Or are you from Lakeland? Are you from Philadelphia? Then you might just get an A in this course here, right? Your major, and I like this question, but why are you taking this class? I gave a few options here, and you can be as honest as you want. You can say simply because it is required. Fair enough. Or you can say that you're actually interested in statistics and analytics and learning more about it. Or you just recognize maybe it's not your favorite thing in the world to take, but you do recognize that the jobs, the internships that you are going to get, remember, we're in college, not because we're going to be in college forever, but because you're going to graduate and get a job. And I tell you that analytics and statistics are a big part of the job market out there now. So with that being said, I want to go through attendance and then we will go from there. So again, tell me how to pronounce your name, and if you go by a nickname or anything else like this, I want to jot it down so I don't mess it up, or for at least another week or two. All right, so Catherine Abelman. Perfect. You're going to love marketing research, especially in that course when they start using SPSS. So SPSS is like Excel, but it's a little bit more advanced. There's more tools for SPSS, and that's where they do a lot of the marketing research. And so you probably haven't taken that course quite yet. For that course, yeah. And so that will be a great segue from this one right into SPSS. So that's awesome. Thank you, Kat. Ashley Atkinson. Well, hopefully you're going to start to like it. All right. China Bullen. I think I might have you online. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you're online. And again, so hopefully you can see my screen. Hopefully it's sharing. kind of your name, where you're from, your major, and what do you want to get out of this class?
My name's China. I'm from New Hampshire. I'm a business administration major, and I'm taking the class because it's required.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Dre Daniker? How you doing, Dre?
Good. My name is Ph.D. and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. My major is business admin and I'm taking classes that are required.
Now, are you a Patriots fan?
I am.
Is it painful to see Tom Brady about to win the Super Bowl here?
Honestly, I'm over it, so I'm kind of okay personally.
Samantha Evans? You got Samantha, is
I
that
go by Sammy.
Sammy?
Yeah, I'm from Middletown, New York, which is like an hour and a half north of the city. And I'm also a marketer. And I'm taking this class mostly because it's required, but I'm excited to like gain more Excel skills.
Now, are you down in Florida from New York for the weather or for?
That was definitely.
Definitely an issue, yeah. Yeah, I can understand that, being from Pennsylvania. Brianna Farrell? Brianna, is that saying right?
You can call me Bree.
Bree?
I'm from North
Okay.
I major in marketing.
All right. Good amount of marketing people here. But that's good for me to know. Josefa.
My name is Bora. I'm from Chile. I'm a business administration and maybe my career.
Excellent.
And I'm taking this class.
All right. Thank you, Josefa. Kyler Grant.
Yep. I'm from Georgia. I'm an major, and I'm.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Josh.
I'm from Auburndale, like this way.
Yeah.
I'm an accounting major and
Oh, very good.
taking this class because I was talking to my academic advisor. He needed an extra elective, and then you can take business statistics, and I like business.
And that is important. So we are looking to make sure, because I do think this course fits very well with the accounting major. So that it's great to have you here, Josh. And great name. Elizabeth Harding. Elizabeth. Good. All right. Now I don't know you very well, Elizabeth. Was that sarcastic or is that? Okay. All right.
I transferred here, but
All right. So it should be at least the first couple of units might be very familiar to you. All right. Ava.
I'm Ava. I'm from Asia. I'm a marketing major and also
Okay. One thing I can say is when you saw I brought up the data analysis and then I saw the solver, I know we're not using the solver in this class, but I know in info systems that's more of a part of that course. So that would be a good mixture of the two. It's not going to be too repetitive, I don't think. So I'm going to turn online, and so I kind of had the first part of the alphabet. It was not, I didn't really know anybody, so it was more putting just the first half that are in person in the first group A and the second half in group B. So if you're wondering why that is the case. But going online here, so I'm going to Kennedy Lewis. Again, Kennedy, is that a good name for you? Where are you from, your major, and hopefully you can see my screen about why exactly you want to take this course.
Yeah, Kenji's fine, and I'm actually from Latham, Florida, and my major, I'm business admin, and I'm in this class because it's required, but yeah.
That's fine. Thank you, Kenny. Naomi Lewis.
Naomi is fine, and I'm from Tampa, Florida. My major is business admin, and I'm taking this class as a requirement.
All right, thank you, Naomi. Sean Matson.
My name's Sean. I'm from Long Island, New York. My major is sports business management, and I'm taking this class because it's required.
All right, come on. You guys can just, throw me a bone, say you're excited about it. You want to learn about analytics, but no, that's perfectly fine. Hopefully by the end, you'll find this course to be extremely useful. Michelle, Mischik, am I close?
Yeah, you actually got it right.
All right, I'll take it.
I'm Michelle. I'm from North Fort Myers, Florida, which is just a couple hours south of here. My major is business administration, and I'm taking the course because it's required, but you never know, I might like it.
That's right. All right, so at least you're optimistic, hopefully. Rachel Newton.
All right, I'm Rachel. I'm from Brandon, Florida. I'm a sports management major, and I'm taking it because it's required.
Fair enough. Ariana? Ariana Peels, am I saying that correct?
It's Ariana Pels. It's okay.
No.
I'm Ariana Pels. I'm from Illinois. My major is business administration, and I'm taking this class because it's required.
Cassidy Schmidt.
Hi, I'm Cassidy. I am from Parrish, Florida, and I'm a double major in communications and business administration. And I'm taking this class because it's a requirement.
I need to come up with a better question here, but that's perfectly fine. Isabella Seebeck?
Yeah, that's how you say it. Seebeck.
Seebeck.
Yeah. I'm Isabella, but I know I usually go by Izzy. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I'm a double major in accounting and business admin. And I'm taking this class because it's required, but I did take stats in high school and really liked it, so I'm pretty excited to do it again.
Excellent, excellent. And I assure you that we're going to go above and beyond what you might have done before. So that's great. Nicholas Shannon? Nick?
Yeah, my name's Nick Shannon. I'm from Delray Beach, Florida. My major is business administration, and I'm taking the class because it's required.
Yeah. Shay Soha?
Shay Soya.
Soya.
So hey guys, my name is Shay Soya. I'm from Naples, Florida. I'm a business administration major, and I'm taking this class because A, it's required, and B, I'm a very analytical person, so hopefully I'll enjoy this course a lot.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Shay. Zachary Walker.
Hi, I'm Zachary. I'm from Bartow, Florida. I am a business administration major, and I'm taking this class because it's required.
All right, thank you, Zachary. Dylan Winwood.
What's up, guys? I'm Dylan. I'm from Long Island, major sport business management. Taking this class because it's required, but I'm also fired up to learn about some statistics. So let's get it going.
There you go, Dylan. Thank you. So Kaja Wróblewska.
It's Kaja Wróblewska.
Right.
I'm from Poland, and my major is business administration, and I'm taking this class because it's required.
Great. Thank you, Kaja. And then Sarah Wróblewska. Again, I'm pronouncing that wrong.
It's Sarah, and
We get a little bit of feedback, Sarah. There you go.
Okay, I'm good now. So it's Sarah. I'm from Poland. Also business administration major, and I'm taking the class because it's required.
All right, well, thank you, guys. Again, online, make sure that you can mute yourself whenever you're not talking, but feel free at any time to mute. As you guys heard here, you're not going to be disrupting class. I'll hear it, and I will bring the class to, or the question to the rest of the class, just so you don't feel like you're overtaking everything. So make sure you feel, once you feel comfortable doing that as we go forward. Attendance will go a lot quicker, as we go forward, as I get to know you. It will be done every class period, but it'll be more of a, let's go through, make sure you're here, make sure that there's any issues here. So what time are we having here? So our class time is a little bit odd. It's 9:25 to 10:35, which before coming to Florida Southern, I never thought there'd be such odd. My afternoon class is 1:40 to 2:50. Like there's some odd class times, but 9:25, we're going to be up, ready. I want to get started at that time so we can get done without pushing our time there. When it comes to the class, it is going to move relatively fast. Given the requirements that I know you've taken, I really want to take it to the next level. Now, we are going to start with some basic descriptive statistics, but then quickly kind of move on and really focus on the Excel application of everything and how we can use Excel as a tool in the most productive way fashion. Excel is something where, I mentioned this before, some of you will come in knowing a lot about it. Some of you have forgotten much about Excel, and that's either's okay. But some of the things that I find students kind of have a issue with is Excel. There's not going to be any equations that you need to memorize. However, there are going to be many equations, even in this first unit, that I give you an equation and you have to translate that to Excel. All right, so we'll be working on that. Those are some of the challenges that we have. When I got to Florida Southern 4.5 years ago, this is what they told me to teach in this course. There is no way, this is like 5 courses. So when I got here, I said, this is not a feasible applied statistics course. And so we tried to break it down into just 3 different chunks, 3 different groups. The first one is, I'm calling descriptive statistics and probabilities. If you've taken stats in the past, this is going to be largely reviewed, just a little different way of teaching it, a little bit different way of using Excel. But chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the first unit. Chapter 1, we're going to cover that in its entirety on Friday. It'll be done. Right? It's more of just terminology. Make sure when I say this term, you know what this term means. When I say time series versus cross-sectional, you know what that means. Even quantitative versus qualitative data. That's going to be important terminology going forward. That's all chapter 1 is. Chapter 2, and I can go to the next slide here, is looking at how do we show descriptive statistics. This is all about creating histograms, taking data sets, whether small or large, and making information out of them. We're going to calculate them in chapter 3 and then introduce probabilities. That's our first chunk, and there's going to be an exam on that first chunk. Our second unit is going to be looking primarily at hypothesis testing. So hypothesis testing, do you remember things like t-test and z-test? Kind of, right? I reject the null, I fail to reject the null, I am 96.5% confident. Those kind of terms are going to be in full display, and we'll show you how to use Excel for this second unit. And then unit 3, especially coming from an economics background, this is what I use every day when I do research. Regression analysis, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And it really shows the value of, if I change this one variable, by how much does another variable change? If I study by one more hour, how much would my grade go up on average? If I practice a little bit more, how much better will I get? If I increase funding on education, what will be the impact on the GDP per capita in countries? So really, it's tying variables together about how much one will affect the other. So that's going to be our last unit, our chapters 14 and 15. There is going to be 2 midterms and then a final exam, but the final exam will be focused more on that last unit. And specifically, in terms, this is all in the syllabus, but it's important to just get this out of the way here. The assigned quizzes or homework, this is a small part of your grade. There's not going to be a lot. I used to do more, and this used to be a much higher percentage because I could give out, a short quiz, a 1-question quiz in class with a piece of paper. You do it, you turn it back. Well, that's not the world that we're living in, this semester. So there will be a few assignments that I are more specialty type assignments, but it's a small part of your grade. The biggest ones, we had the 2 midterms, one on unit 1, one on unit 2, 15% each. The cumulative final exam is 25%. That is given during finals week, right? I have, the date is actually listed in the syllabus. I can bring it, but I don't want to shuffle through my papers. It is already preset. I think it's on that Wednesday of finals week, I think 8 a.m. if I remember correctly. But there is cumulative, but it's really going to focus on the stuff after the midterms. Homework, graded homework, this is what I find to be the easiest way to keep your grade really high. The exams tend to be a little bit more difficult, right? Because they're timed, you're using Excel, you have 70 minutes to do them. The homework is where you spend the time, you have multiple attempts. This is done through My Stat Lab. My Stat Lab is where you do this. You have multiple attempts. There'll be one per chapter, 20% of your grade. This is where it is not uncommon for me to see scores of 98%, 99%, 97%. This is really the best way. The way that I see students lose a lot of points is if they simply don't do it. Make sure you get it done. The first one is due this Sunday night. The content we're going to be talking about on Friday, but I've given the same assignments, kind of more of a just make sure you get enrolled into My Stat Lab and with Pearson and that you are completing this. Sunday night, 11:59 is going to be your chapter 1 homework. The average time is between 10 and 15 minutes to do it. So there's no excuse, get it done. We'll talk about the textbook more in a little bit. Now, that's not to say every homework is 10 to 15 minutes. Some will be, once it's more advanced, is going to be more in the range of half hour to 45 minutes, or maybe some might be an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm going to have these due on Sunday nights. There might be a time where I have to switch one due date, but I want you to put Sunday night to be due date for applied statistics. So put it in your calendar. Sunday morning, you wake up, put it in your phone. Did you do your stats homework for tonight? Right? I don't want you guys jumping around guessing, was this due Monday this week, Wednesday next week, Thursday the other week? Sunday nights are when they're typically due. Next week, we're going to be talking more about a group project. So the group project, we have collected actual real data from a Lakeland bank that we're going to be analyzing as a group, small groups, about 3 to 4 students. Most of that work will be done online. And there's participation. Again, this is not only just attendance, but it's the quality of your participation as well. Some little things here, and I want to make sure that, I'm wrapping up in the near future here. When it comes to the face-to-face, cleaning supplies are here. I did not have a single problem last semester about students wearing masks. I was very pleasantly surprised, very pleasantly. It was a great thing. Masks are required when you're here. You can clean your workspace. There are cleaning supplies up here. Try to maintain social distance when you can, right? Otherwise, make sure you have your mask on. When it comes to food and drink, there aren't food allowed in the classrooms this semester. Now, it is okay, I see a water bottle. That is perfectly fine to have something to drink in the classroom. However, what I don't want you to see, and Disney ran into this, right? I love to go to Disney Springs. And one of the things about Disney Springs is you walk around with a cup of coffee or you have a drink or something like that, and that's your excuse to not wear a mask because you're always drinking something, right? That can't be an excuse in the classroom. If you want a drink of water, take your drink, but it's not an excuse to not wear your mask. You can take a drink, but it's not an excuse to not wear your mask. All right? Very good. So we're going to clean up, make sure everything's good there. When it comes to online, I haven't had many issues. Well, I had one issue, but that's a different story. Make sure that you might be seen a little bit here. So keep that in mind when you're in your dorm room or when you're in your... I've seen a few awkward moments, and I know other faculty have had some awkward stories about leaving your camera on or leaving your mic on. Be here. It's a 70-minute class. Make sure when you're online, wherever you're at, that you keep that in mind, that I might call on you, especially on Fridays. I might bring you up, and so I can talk with each of you, ask you a question, and go through it. Just keep that in mind. And again, I don't know how much more I want to say. I've seen students just lounging in their beds. I mean, I guess that's fine. Try to think about what it looks like, especially because the Zoom interviews aren't going away. if you're doing your internship or anything else. So you want to make sure to keep that in mind. When it comes to the only thing I want to mention here with COVID, assigned student seating will be done at the end of next week, right? So once we have the assigned seating, you're expected to be in that seat, but that's something we'll get to a little bit later. Just really quickly, just some finishing touches on here is the sections that we meet here or online, you're expected to be there, whether remote, live streaming. It's not a, I'll watch the video later type thing. Attendance does count, whether you're in person or there. And I already mentioned office hours. Most afternoons, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 to 4, or Thursday, I labeled in my morning office hours. Send me an email if you want to get together some other time. All right, so let me just end the class with this, with going to Canvas. If you have your computer, go to the Canvas page online. I know you have your computer. Go ahead to the Canvas page. Let me just point out some things. Let me actually just flip to student view so that I know you are seeing what I am seeing. So now we're in student view on the Canvas page, and now we're all looking at the same thing here. I showed you the home page where you have the links to the different meetings, and we also have the student registration handout. What you will need to do between now and Sunday is register for my stat lab and complete chapter 1 homework, and I'll show you where that is. This is what the textbook looks like. Okay. You are not required to have this textbook, this hard copy of the textbook. What the student instructions will show you is it will give you 3 different options. Option 1, and this is the lowest cost option. I think it's around $100, but what you get is you get access to my stat lab, which is required, and it also includes the e-textbook. Okay, so whenever you get my stat lab, you get the e-textbook. That's the minimum requirement. Some of you might not want to have the e-textbook. Like I said, or I mentioned earlier, my wife is a graduate student here, and she hates reading things on her tablet. She likes to have a hard copy of the book. If you want to go that route, what you can do is you can buy the My Stat Lab, you can add the hard copy of the book, or if you want to go external, this is not a new edition this semester. You can find a place, if you want to rent the hard copy, if you want to borrow a hard copy from a friend, that is up to you completely, right? Or you could buy the package, right? Whichever one you want, they differ in cost. The only requirement for me is my stat lab, because I know that comes with the e-textbook that I'll be referring to, right? So the instructions are there. The short of it is when you go to Canvas, go to My Lab and Mastering, click on My Lab and Mastering, and then what you're going to see here is you can click directly to your assignments. You can, if it's your first time, you can open it up and then it'll go through. If you have a Pearson account from another class, you can use your Pearson login from your other courses, or you might have to create one, but then it'll give you the option. One of the options is that you have a 2-week free trial period. So there is not an excuse that I'm waiting for money to come down from New York to buy my textbooks. Get the free trial for 2 weeks. That way you can do the homework. You can make sure you see where the assignments are, right? So you don't fall, and then in 2 weeks it'll ask you to pay and what option that you want. So you must do this, and then you must complete that first homework assignment. So the easiest way that I recommend, you can go through the bookstore, or you can go directly through Pearson if that's what you want to do. When it comes to modules, this is probably the other most important tab. Once you get the textbook, once you register for the textbook, really all you have to do is go to modules. So modules, there's some boilerplate stuff here. I'm going to go down to welcome begin here. The welcome, it summarizes your syllabus. So here are the course objectives. Here is a little bit about me. Here is, again, reference to the course resources. And this is all under the modules. And then there's the videos that I have. This one is a video for Excel. So it's already embedded there. Click it, and then you can see me talking from my outdoor patio, right? I'm kind of going through what are the tools that we're going to be using in Excel. So that's there. Watch that. Make sure it's, like I said, it's 17 minutes. Also in modules, and this is what you'll be very comfortable with by the end. I have Unit 1 displayed. So looking at these different tabs, first of all, here is a direct link to the homeworks. Now, I don't always show the homeworks right away, but I think it's helpful to see it. So the Chapter 1 homework is due on Sunday night, and it won't take you very long to do. But then Chapter 2 will be the next Sunday, then the next Sunday, then the next Sunday. So we have one homework per chapter, and they're already there set up for you. Don't start all of them now. Usually I don't even open them up, and I might close some of them down. I just wanted you to see it, right, where it is. One of the benefits that you guys have, I know with all the quarantine and everything, there's actually a little bit of a perk that you have. Not only are you able to see me in person during different days, you can always remote have access to me. You have my office hours. I have up here PowerPoints from the textbook, which are always available to you. So you don't have to go through Pearson to get them. But this is something that you're going to find very, very helpful. And last semester, my students said that this is one of the coolest things about it. Is over the summer, I went through each chapter. This is just a general overview of the content. And so there are videos here for Chapter 1, Chapter 2. Some of them I had to divide in parts, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and they're accompanying an Excel file. These are all examples from our course that are different than what we cover in class. They're complements to one another, right? There's online version where you can watch these videos at any time, and then you get separate examples with me in person. So you have access to all of these videos. You can look at the video blank Excel file. Then if you really don't understand probabilities, you want to see another example, then you go directly here and you can see me using the Excel file, talking you through how to do it. I created these through Panopto over the summer, right? So you have all of this resources in addition to in-class instruction. So what I do in class, I do not repeat what's in these videos. I use completely different examples. Right? There might be very little overlap, but not much. That way you have access to so many different examples, but that's available to you. And then finally, Unit 1 in-class notes and Excel files. This is what we're going to be doing in class. So on Monday, when I see the same group here on Monday morning, what I'm going to be saying is open up this Excel file. Let's start working on it. Then save it. And I'll say on Wednesday, open up the same Excel file. Let's keep working on it. On Friday, when we're all online, I'm going to say, let's open it up and let's keep working on it. So there's a lot of stuff there for you. You'll get more comfortable with it. We did it. We did the first class. On Friday, there'll be a different group of you here in person. So I look forward to putting some faces to the names that I saw online. You guys, make sure you're logging in via Teams to get the content. We are going to be knocking out Chapter 1. And remember, register for the textbook, and Chapter 1 is due on Sunday night. All right, let's have a great semester, everybody. Feel free to grab the wipes up here, wipe down your desk before you go. Thank you, everybody online. I'll see many of you in person on Friday.